Hey guys, welcome to my video. Today I'll be running the Natasha in my lineup, and the Natasha is very fragile robot and it only has one passive module slot, and I have Last Stand equipped on it, and I'm using the Glacier and Rime on it. So the burst will be pretty good, but the bot itself is very fragile, so we'll see how it goes. I'm in my Hellburner with the shotgun setup, so running towards the side, because usually if I run towards the center, I'll be like the main target, and before I use my ability, my last stand will be triggered, and I'm running into two phantoms. I think that one was low leveled, so I killed it, and chasing after this one, healing, and got that one as well. Invader here, doing as much damage as possible against enemy with this setup. So I didn't really run beacon with this. I just tried to counter enemies beacon runners, so I was kind of satisfied to just take out two phantoms at this point. Dropping into my flame Aries, and the right beacon was threatened. It turned white. This was Strider with rockets, so it ran into me, and I didn't want to use the phase shift, because during phase shift you can't really use your weapon, and I used my ability anyways. Luckily, I had a support bot. This tier was healing me all along, and moving towards left because people were kind of stacking up on the left, and I usually like to go near the slope by the staircase, near the center. And I love getting that position because you can really defend the center beacon easy, or you can try to get the center beacon when you don't have it. Now, I don't have time to look over to the right and see what's going on because there are a lot of enemies around me already. But plan is to really take out as many guys near here, clustered as possible. But the right beacon is changing now, and luckily it's changing back, and this invader teleported right into my shield, which kind of sucked. Luckily, I'm about to trigger this guy's last stand so I can get closer to destroying this invader. Another guy is moving towards us, and this another bot was the Falcon. Now it's moving towards me, and I'm being leeched right now as well, as you can see from pinkness of my robot. So died in my Aries. We still have two beacon. You want to keep two beacon no matter what. And this beast, I dropped into this beast, Natasha with Glacier and Rime, and it's a fragile bot. And I guess I don't want to deceive anyone that this, like, you can definitely compete with this bot in Champions League. It does work in some situations in solo play only. So that's that, and the Natasha is doing a lot of damage because obviously the firepower is definitely there. Two medium and two light. On top of that, it's the ice weapons. It has the burst, and it does additional 20% damage, but when you meet leech, you're definitely gonna lose that last stand or get killed. This was low health leech, and with my last stand I was able to kill it. Recharging my rockets at this point. Hopefully if this guy gets into my range I can do some damage, but this guy used his phase shift. Now I can't target this guy anymore, so I'm trying to find another target. So basically with this build, where there are corners, you want to get there before enemies. So as soon as enemies turn around the corner, you'll be shooting all those rockets, and then while they're getting to where enemies are, you would, I guess, want to hide. So trying to get this guy here when he's not paying attention. At this point my heart is pounding because everything else can basically outpower me. I'm kind of hoping that there are like Falcons, and I was kind of lucky to have enemies not see me. So yeah, as I said before, my heart is pounding at this point. I have my phase shift, and Luckily, I was able to target these guys, but man, they had phase shift, last stand, everything was triggered. This leech was, yeah, this was when I knew I was done in this build. As you guys can see, it's very fragile. And the next game, I'm in this spot a little longer, but having this set up in my lineup, and this game was such a good game, so I had to put this game into this video. I'm in my Spectre Corona now. I have sharpshooter on this, so I'm kind of firing my weapons from far away. I see Avenger, so that thing does a lot of damage from far away as well. So I'm kind of moving cover to cover to get closer, because after all, this shotgun build is this shotgun build is best at close range. So this Falcon, I don't know if I can kill it, but I went for this guy because we only have 4 minutes left, and we've been having just 2 beacons, and yeah, having them taking 4 beacons at this point is pretty crucial, and I'm back into a position where I don't want to be. I want to secure that the staircase position, but some bots are outpowering. I rather save this spot and try to kill as many guys as possible, rather than giving up beacon and losing the spot, basically. So this Fenrir, as soon as this guy saw me, I jumped, and that jump hang time allows me to dump all my Corona ammo onto this Fenrir. Now this is kind of frustrating. I'm trying to find an angle or a spot where these Owlmings can't really get me. So this was the place, and Kid is approaching as well, and we only have 2 beacon, and our beacon gauge is low, and 3 minutes left in the game. And it's not like we have more guys than them. They have 5 and we have 4, so we have to at least get another beacon. I went for the center beacon at this point, knowing that I have my last stand and knowing that my phase shift will come back. This phase shift isn't gonna do anything, but at least I was able to keep 2 beacons to really secure not like losing right away. So after dropping into my Owl June, the whole point wasn't to chase this Owlming, but to chase another beacon, because our beacon gauge was so low that I kind of had to make a beacon run. Even though my last stand was triggered, kind of had to come over here. I thought I was secured here, but Kid was firing at me. Used my ability. Luckily my ability came back. Luckily I was running that ability cooldown booster, so I was able to take this guy out, and we have 5 beacons now and they only have 1. So game can just turn just like that, so never give up on the game. And I still haven't used my Titan, but if I dropped into my Titan at we would have lost, because it wasn't the time to really defend a beacon. It was more time to get more beacons. And Titan, I have Arthur in my lineup, and this Arthur is not the fastest spot out there. So that was a nail biter for me. When I was in Natasha, my heart was kind of pounding. 4.2 million, not bad. I got 2 beacons, 6 kills. The second place guy and third place guy and fourth place guy did pretty well. Enemies had duo partners, so that was a cool game. And I'm dropping into Moon Map, and this was also a full game. I'm in Natasha a lot longer than the previous game. Dropped into my lockdown shotgun Hellburner as my first pick here, and I'm kind of searching where I should go. I'm really thinking about going on the 2nd floor near the center beacon, because if they all rush down and contest for that center beacon, I can really use my overload. But I see these 2 guys without last stand, so I'm chasing after these guys because I can do maximum damage to these 2 guys. Obviously they have phase shift. Since Aljun had the phase shift, I'm healing, but it's yeah, I was able to take both of these two guys. So that just shows how important last stand is in Champions League, trying to do maximum damage to another two, their second picks. And I wanted to save my Natasha for their Titans, but I dropped in here because I saw a tier, and obviously I was the counter. Tier has a physical shield, so splash damage was pretty cool to do. And near the center, I saw Falcon, so against Falcon I can really engage, because it's just a tanky bot. I was able to take out that Falcon and doing that splash damage, but staying cover at this point because I know that my rockets are down. I need to recharge my rockets and possibly recharge my phase shift as well, because I'll be with the fragile bots like this. I really have to rely on phase shift and last stand to really use these rockets. I did give up that beacon kind of, but yeah, it's just how fragile this bot is. Keeping 2 beacons at this point, I'm still satisfied. I'm trying to use this bot as much as possible. This Aljun chased me down for that beacon. At this point, I'm going for this beacon to defend this beacon and sit down on here. I have far better burst, so I think even if my last stand will trigger a little bit faster, as soon as our last stands are over, my burst, having higher burst, I was able to take down that Aljun pretty quick. Now I'm just kind of waiting until the enemies spawn into that beacon, but everyone was kind of spawned in, and this Falcon was getting that beacon luckily. Now coming down a little bit closer using my splash damage as my advantage. And yeah, you always have to keep in mind how fragile this bot is. Keep in check your phase shift, because I don't have my last stand anymore, so I heavily have to rely on phase shift and supporting enemies engagement. Kind of when my team and enemy robot is engaged, basically I search for that and do damage on, be that extra firepower on our team. I triggered my phase shift. Yeah, that was the Phantom, I believe, because they transported back. And this guy was using phase shift to get closer. Luckily, this is how I would kind of support. We lost that beacon again, but we have 3 beacons at this point. And trying to get that beacon, I'll just die anyways, and we still have 6 minutes left. So I'm actually gonna swing over to the other side here. Now this guy was sitting on this beacon. I think this guy was AFK. He might have got a call or something. Now even if enemies get that beacon, we'll still have 2 beacons. Now trying to wake this guy up, but I think at this point I knew that he was AFK, and him staying there is not bad. And this Phantom, yeah, this was perfect way to use the splash damage weapon. And if this guy who is AFK stays up there, no one can get this beacon. So actually this guy was kind of helping in a way, and having that 300-meter range and people sneaking up, I was about to do what I did to that Phantom on over here. Try to get this guy's attention to get over here, because my bot is fragile and I could use this guy's shield, but this guy didn't come. And I guess he's coming now. I'm trying to get his attention. Getting this leech, but I was leeched anyways, so I'm using that phase shift, hoping to survive. Luckily, during this guy's ability, he was using his phase shift and slayed that Titan. And this build can be deadly. Why? Because of its firepower. Although yeah, it has extreme fragile, and it's pretty slow. Now I can't do much at this point with this much HP and no phase shift. I decided to drop into my Spectre Corona so that once I defend the center beacon, I can drop to either side to defend the beacon or acquire a beacon. So this is actually 2 versus 1, so I have to be really careful. I have to shoot and jump or do something magical. Now luckily this was Lance, and unfortunately this guy had Glacier splash damage weapon, which I didn't expect, and I was damaged pretty badly, but my last stand was still there. I was able to go through this guy with my last stand, and I knew that this guy had Scourge and my ability was coming back. As soon as I hit his last stand, I jumped, so this guy wasn't able to get me, and was successfully able to defend these beacons against 2 of these guys. So meanwhile, enemy kind of mech'd and they were in low-key, dropped in to my Aries to finish up their Titan, and yeah, the game was pretty much wrapped up. Their beacon gauge is just draining pretty fast against having 5 capped beacon against them. So that was wrapped up, and that's what it's like to have the Natasha in my lineup. And I know some other people can pull out Natasha better, obviously, but that was my run, and 2.3 million damage with 3 beacons, 11 kills. It was incredibly fun and exciting build to run. Definitely fragile, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe for more. I'm trying to reach 10k subscription, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See you guys.